serum. It's still experimental, hence the polygraph. I would have tortured you, but my employers insist I use their concoction. Now, let's begin. How did you get into Hadia?
The Yellow Brick Road.
Well, apparently, needs more time. While it's going through your system, curious about something. Why did you do it?
Anyone in my shoes would have done the same.
I think you overestimate human beings. I don't think you realize the time, money, and resources that went into this operation. You pissed off the wrong people. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You were smuggled out of Hadia at age 5, grew up in the foster care system, and dabbled in criminal activities. You managed to pull yourself together and become a decorated soldier. After decades of trying to get back into Hadia, well, you decided to take matters into your own hands. It seems we're ready. How did you get into Hadia?
I asked for a transfer to the UN peacekeepers, who had deployed inside Hadia. It backfired. When the paperwork cleared, Hadia's civil war was in full swing and the peacekeepers pulled out. I reported to my new unit, stole some gear, and crossed the mountains.
Why come back?
My parents. I wanted to find them. I needed to confront them.
How did you know your parents were still in Hadia?
I didn't. My only memory was that my father was the blacksmith of the village of Jova.
Getting into Hadia is just as hard as leaving. Tell me, who smuggled you out?
My mother.
What happened?
She sat me down in the back of a truck, gave me a necklace, and shut the door.
She didn't say anything?
She told me, never come back.
Arlo, Otis, please pick up. It's Atticus. I've been trying to call for days now. Phone lines keep going down, so I don't know when I'll be able to call you back, but I'll keep trying. Hey, don't go killing Sabs without me. See you soon.
You must be lost to wander around Sinedra Forest. I'm afraid I have very little to offer. You're welcome to stay and catch your breath. Frankly, I could use the company.
Who are you?
The name's Ernest Cadell. My family has tilled the earth here for generations. When the Sabinian army dug in for the winter, they used our home as their headquarters. I wasn't here at the time, but my sons were. When I finally came back, the Sabinians were long gone. They left my sons' bodies in the forest. My only solace is knowing that my fourth son might still be alive. I hope he finds his way home, if he's out there somewhere.
Do you know where the village of Jova is located?
It's in Akasa Marshes. It's quite a ways from here. I'm afraid you're going to need a vehicle. Unfortunately, I have none. A group of strange-looking soldiers arrived here last night in an APC. And perhaps you can ask them for help. It's not the first time I've seen them. They always seem to be snooping around here for something.
Where can I find the APC?
They parked their APC just beyond the woods, to the north. Once in the woods, follow the wind chimes. They will lead the way through. I hung them in the trees so my sons would stop getting lost when they were children. Setharus, bless their souls. The gate to enter the woods is locked. Here, take this key to unlock it.
Epsilon 12, right? I can't see shit. I have blood in my eyes. You must have honed in on my distress beacon.
Who are you?
OMSIF 0451, Epsilon 11. I got separated from my unit. They're still down there behind that door. We were on an SSC, and we got jumped. I'm not sure how I got here. All I remember is hearing that door shutting behind me. I must have triggered something. We need the key to the APC. We need to get the fuck out of here.
Who has the APC key?
The sergeant has the key. He's inside with the team. The Sarge is easy to spot. He's the one with a dark red poncho. Shit. I'm hurt pretty bad. I need to stop the bleeding. We have a med kit in the camp we set up in the woods west of here. We marked the trees to make it easier to navigate. Bring me the med kit, and I'll give you what you need to open the door. need the med kit. Just follow the marked trees in the woods west of here. Good. You got the medkit. Okay. You see that ladder over there? Climb it to the top. Take this. You'll need it to open the door. You'll figure it out.
Epsilon 11. Epsilon 11, sound off. Why are you in Akasa Marshes? Who ordered you? Where are my men?
They're gone. The creatures got the better of them.
Abandon the vehicle and walk away. You have my word, no harm will come to you.
How about I give it back when I no longer need it?
I would advise against it.
It's just too convenient.
You have no idea who you've stolen from. Choose your next move wisely.
Why is this happening? Camille! Oh, my baby. Anna, my baby girl. We got separated during the evacuation in Tulsi. The screaming, the panic, the smoke, pure chaos. I lost them in the crowd. I finally traced them back to Jova, but I'm too late. I'm too late. Oh, Camille, forgive me. I'm too late. Without one of their belongings, I can't even give them a proper Palamist burial. This won't bring my family back.
still can't believe what happened. We were finally leaving Jova. This massive creature materialized ahead of us, swatted the truck aside like a fly. We grabbed what we could, and slogged through the marsh. The creatures were everywhere. What the hell are they? Rojo and I are the only two left. I'm almost out of metformin. I'm a goner without those pills. Even if I wasn't stuck in a goddamn swamp, sourcing medication in a war-torn country is next to impossible. What a disaster.
How the hell did you find us? You know what? Doesn't matter. We were part of the peacekeeping mission assigned to Jova. When the order to pull out came in, I was so relieved. Our CO, Lieutenant Rue, convinced us to stay for a few days. I wanted out of this place so bad, and it didn't take much effort to convince the others to leave with me. And now we're stuck here. No way in hell I'm going back out there without support. I need a SATCOM radio to contact HQ. Damn it.
Permitted to play Sabinian classics, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, I only happen to know one of their dreadful compositions. I'm getting the impression that Captain Voss is tired of hearing the same tune over and over again. I need to learn some new pieces before I end up against the wall.
I don't know how you managed to get here, and I don't care. I have my orders not to interfere with your operations. Just do me the same courtesy. That's all we need. A bunch of fucking outsiders roaming around our country. I strongly suggest you avoid my men. They have enough to worry about.
Who are you?
I'm Captain Vass, 6th Battalion, 3rd Company of the Asterian Armed Forces. I'm in charge here. Jova is part of Asteria now, so everything here belongs to the Sabinian cause. I'll follow my orders for now, but there's a limit. The way I see it, you're not bulletproof, and you're alone. I think we understand each other.
I'm looking for Jova's blacksmith. Have you seen him?
He must have left with the ON convoy. Can't find this son of a bitch anywhere. We had a good deal. Our Corps of Engineers went dark right about when the creatures appeared. He was gonna help rebuild Jova. If you find him, tell him he can come back. I'll go easy on him.
What happened here?
Justice happened here. If you think the Palamists aren't doing the same thing to us, you're a fucking idiot. Jova's part of Asteria's relocation program. We were gonna get everything ready for the migrating Sabinian families. That was before these damn creatures showed up.
Where was the ON convoy going?
I have no idea, and I couldn't care less. They're either brave or stupid to have made a run for it. My money's on stupid. Wherever they're going, I'm sure they didn't get very far from their outpost.
Where's the ON outpost?
The outpost is northeast of here, on the outskirts of town. It's on the street behind the blacksmith's forge.
Are you? Please don't tell anyone I'm here.
Hey, who are you?
I'm Rebecca. I've been hiding here since the attack on Jova. When the bombs fell from the sky, I was playing in the treehouse with my baby brother. Parents ran out and screamed at us to get down. My baby brother ran to them. That's when the bomb exploded.
So, I'm looking for the blacksmith. Do you know where he is?
I don't know him very well. I think he doesn't like kids much. I saw some villagers leaving with the ON peacekeepers on their white trucks. Maybe he went with them.
What happened here?
The soldiers rounded up everyone. Uncle Jaffer told me to hide when they entered the house. They arrested him and they took him somewhere else. The soldiers separated everyone. The men, the women, the children. People were screaming and crying when they were being forced into the buses. The soldiers didn't take everyone, though. The rest were brought into the forest across the marsh. Only the soldiers came back.
Hey, did you see where the white trucks went?
I watched the white trucks drive away. They took the road that turns behind the hill with the ancient monuments. We can see them from here.
Where's your uncle?
I don't know where they took Uncle Jaffer. I know he wasn't taken into the forest with the others. I hope they let him go. He promised to take me somewhere safe.
Damn it! Of course I drew the short straw. The worst cleanup job in town and I pull it. Figures. Damn it! Of course I drew the short straw. The worst cleanup job in town and I pull it. I don't have time for this.
Hands off! I found him. He's mine now. I found the poor pup whimpering alone in a house, just abandoned there by the owners. Unbelievable how utterly heartless these Palamists are. He's in good hands now, though. Aren't you? Who's a good boy? Hey! Hands off! I found him. He's mine now.
Palamists were clever enough to work heavy machinery like this. Color me surprised. Check his pockets. Take that silly little acorn, put her with the rest. No! No, please! Don't take it! Shut up! Oh, fuck! You got blood all over my boots, you fucking asshole! Alright, boys, go round up the rest of them.
bastard. Next time he falls, I'll let him choke a little longer.
His gaze be upon you, my son. You're not from here, are you? I know everyone around here, and yet there is a way about you that is familiar to me.
Who are you?
I am Abbot Jaffer, the spiritual leader of Patham Abbey. My life started here, and it seems it will end here. I don't know where you are from, but I'm afraid you've wandered into hell.
Do you know where I might find the blacksmith?
Even before all this started, he was often gone. A dark burden weighed on him. I sincerely hope he has escaped Jova with the ON convoy. Pray, my son. Pray he hasn't been shipped off to the prison camps.
What happened here?
Madness and hatred happened here, and lots of it. When I finally managed to get back from Tulsi, I rushed to my brother's home only to find my niece Rebecca orphaned. Then the soldiers began to round up the villagers. When they kicked in the door, I told her to hide. I gave myself up.
Where's the Abbey?
It's southeast of Jova, sitting on a rocky plateau. From the marshes you can see its beautiful golden spheres and Sethrus's ever-watchful eye. Tread lightly, my son. Captain Voss sent some of his men to ransack the Abbey. He's obsessed with finding a treasure that does not exist. They can keep beating me for as long as they want. I have no idea what they are talking about.
Did you happen to see where the convoy went?
Lieutenant Rue came to negotiate my release. Captain Voss would hear none of it. I heard their trucks leave the outpost this morning. Many roads lead outside the marsh. Sadly, my situation prevented me from seeing where they went.
I found your niece. She's okay.
Thanks, Sethrus. She was always brighter than the other kids. When we leave this place, and we will, I'll take her somewhere peaceful and quiet.
Why is Captain Voss doing this to you?
Captain Voss is a criminal and thief parading as a soldier. You don't believe me? Look inside his trucks. They are filled with things he stole from Palamist families. It is the reason why he arrested me. He can beat me as long as he likes. My answer will always remain the same. There is nothing of value in the Abbey besides our barrels of mead.
Where's the ON outpost?
It's not far. Turn right, just before the blacksmith's forge. You should see it down the hill.
I was part of the mob that hung those civilians in the marsh. I don't know what came over me. Now these soldiers make sure I pay for my crime every single night. And I deserve it. I knew all of them. We were neighbors. I taught their children. Those kids were my life. Rebecca, Talum, Justina, especially little Cyril Kun. I want to remember who I was back then. before all of this happened. I need to wake up from this nightmare. Sethers, forgive me.
See that guy? Looking through the binoculars, standing safely behind the sandbags? That's the captain. I suggest you chat with him before you wander into trouble.